CSS layout and boxes and metrics. Let's talk about some layout. So here I have very simple HTML page. I have a header and then 3 divs, each one with an ID, first, second, and third. Here's my style for the first, second, and third div, width of 20%, 30%, 20%, and then they all float left. And when we load that, it's going to look like this. Right. So as you've seen by now, everything in HTML when it gets rendered is a box. You can see all the various boxes here. This is a box, a box, a box. But the boxes themselves are boxes within boxes. So for example, I have my div here. You can see it's 250 pixels, oops, by 108 pixels, and if I go over here in Chrome Tools, you go down to metrics, you can see, this is the best way of seeing that. You can see the exact width of the box, so 250.19 something by 108. That's that box. But then there's this padding and a border and a margin. So what are those? Well, those are extra boxes around the main text box in this case. And they're all set to 0 by default, but they don't have to be. Like for example, like here you see we have 3 columns of text, but they're kind of close together, so we probably would want a little padding. I can go here and try things out right here on Chrome Tools. I put a 10 there. 10, that means 10 pixels. So I'm adding 10 pixels of padding on the left and on the right, and you see what that did. That just made the text a little bit more legible. Nice, huh? And of course, this can be whatever. Make that bigger if I wanted to, right? Giving myself some more space. So that's the padding. Around the padding, just outside of it, there's a border, right? And let me see. I don't think I can do that, right? So the border, by default, you can't see it, so I'm gonna have to go up here. Border. I'm gonna say solid. 3 pixels, so by default it's going to be so there's my border. Let's go down here and see what we did. So you see I put that 10 there, change that back to 3. So the border is now 3, 3 all around. If I go away, you see that's the border, right? So it's a solid black line. I can of course change the color, and it's around outside the padding. So the padding is in here in green. See the padding? Then there's the border in black. 3, 3, and then I can change that to whatever. I can have my top border be 20 pixels. What happened? 20. It doesn't like that because I put that here thing. So let me get rid of that 3 there, and now maybe I can put a 20 here. 20. No, doesn't let me do that. I reload that. Border solid. There we go. So a little Chrome Tools problem there, but now I got it. So you can see how with this side bigger, it's starting to look a little nicer, right? Like a little box you might see. So you can change those around like so, and that's the border. The border is the only one that's visible, right? So the margin, the border is invisible, and the padding are invisible. And the margin, of course, is just like the padding, but it's outside the border, so you can use that to separate the border from the next guy, right? So I put a 20 there, so now that border is not, hitting that guy right next to him. So we have a little more space. So awesome. So that was all in Chrome Tools. We can do, of course, all this in our CSS files. And once we figure out the numbers you want in Chrome Tools, you might say, okay, well, I wanted a padding left of 10 pixels and padding right of 10 pixels in my second one, and reload that. Okay, that looks nicer. Now I have that and that. Let's say now I want my border A little border on the top, or maybe a border around. I'm gonna say a solid blue border, 1 pixel. Is that gonna work? Let me see. There you go. Blue. Too small. Um, and I'm gonna have a little margin all around of 5 pixels. So again, if you read the documentation, they'll tell you. You can see that when I say just margin, that means margin top, left, right, and bottom. Which in this case I really don't want. I just want margin on the left to be 5 pixels, and then margin on the right to be 5 pixels, and then all the other two to be 0. So like that. Now things get more fun because these don't have to be pixels, right? This could be percentages. So let's see, for example, if I wanted this, right now I have this whole middle one is 30% of the screen, the other ones are 20%, so that's 40, 70%, so I have 30% left over. So we could go with 15% here and 15% here. Let's see if that works. That was a little too big because of the border. Yeah, 10%. So there we go. Right. So now my middle paragraph it's got a width, and it changes, right, as this changes, but basically this middle one always has a lot of space, pushes these two other guys towards the sides. If I was more careful, I could get it all the way to the end, or if I made this 0 pixels, then I could make these other ones 15 and 15, I believe. Let's try that. Oops, that's not gonna work. 15%. Still too big. I'm not sure. Play around with these things till you get them where you want them. That's nice. And then you can change the background color. Right? Yeah, pink. Let's say so. There you go. Now I have this nice box that's pink. That changes size. That's how you reflow this, and it covers up that side. So that's it.